Hope everybody had a blessed day. Hope everybody had a safe passage. And if you're not having a blessed and great day, may God comfort you. May He put His blanket on you and comfort you in all your woes. But I got some scripture I want to read. First from Deuteronomy, from chapter 32, verse 30 through 52. How could one single enemy chase 1,000 of them, and two put 10,000 to fight? It says, how could one single enemy chase 1,000 of them, and two put 10,000 to flight, unless their rock had abandoned them, unless the Lord had destroyed them? But the rock of other nations is not a rock, is not our rock. Prayers to their gods are valueless. They act like men of Sodom and Gomorrah. Their deeds are bitter with poison. They drink the wine of serpent venom. But Israel is my special people, sealed as jewels within my treasury. Vengeance is mine. I decree the punishment of all her enemies. Their doom is sealed. The Lord will see his people rightened and will have compassion on them when they slip. He will watch their power ebb away, both slave and free. Then God will ask, where are their gods? The rocks they claimed to be their refuge. Where are these gods now? To whom they sacrifice their fat and wine. Let those gods arise and help them. Don't you see that I alone am God? I kill and make live. I wound and heal. No one delivers from my power. I raise my hand to heaven and vow by my existence that I will whet the lightning of my sword and hurl my punishments upon my enemies. My arrows shall be drunk with blood. My sword devours the flesh and blood, or all the slain and captives. The heads of the enemy, all are gory in blood. Praise his people, Gentile nations, for he will avenge his people, taking vengeance on his enemies, purifying his land and his people. When Moses and Joshua had recited all the words of this song to the people, Moses made these comments: meditate upon all the laws I have given you today, and pass them on to your children. These laws are not mere words, they are your life. Through obeying them, you will live long, plentiful lives in the land you are going to possess across the Jordan River. That same day the Lord said to Moses, go to Mount Nebo in the Abram mountains, and in the land of Moab, across from Jericho, climb to its heights, and look out across the land of Canaan, the land I am giving to the people of Israel. After you see the land, you must die and join your ancestors, just as Aaron, your brother, died in Mount Horn, and join them, for you dishonored me among the people of Israel at the springs of Meribah Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. You will see spread out before you the land I am giving the people of Israel, but you will not enter it. Now I got something I want to lead you from Luke chapter 12, verse 35 through 59. Be prepared, all dressed and ready for your Lord's return from the wedding feast. Then you will be ready to open the door and let him in at the moment he arrives and knocks. There will be a great joy for those who are ready and waiting for his return. He himself will seat them and put on the waiter's uniform and serve them as they sit and eat. He may come at 9 o'clock at night or even at midnight, but whenever he comes, there will be joy for his servants who are ready. Everyone would be ready for him if they knew the exact hour of his return, just as they would be ready for a thief if they knew when he was coming. So be ready all the time, For I, the Messiah, will come when least expected. Peter asked, Lord, are you talking to just us or to everyone? Listen up. And the Lord replied, I am talking to any faithful, sensible man whose master gives him the responsibility of feeding the other servants. If his master returns and finds that he has done a good job, there will be a reward. His master will put him in charge of all he owns. But if a man begins to think, my Lord won't be back for a long time, and he begins to whip the men and women he's supposed to protect, and to spend his time at drinking parties and the drunkenness, well, his master will return without notice and remove him from his position of trust and assign him to a place of the unfaithful. He will be severely punished, for though he knew his duty, he refused to do it. But anyone who is not aware that he is doing wrong will be punished only lightly. Much is required from those whom much is given, for their responsibility is greater. I have come to bring fire to the earth, and that my task were completed. There is a terrible baptism ahead of me, and how I'm pent up until it is accomplished. Do you think I have come to give peace to the earth? No, rather strife and division. From now on, families will be split apart, 3 in favor of me and 2 against, or perhaps the other way around. A father will decide one way about me, his son the other. The mother and daughter will disagree, and the decision of the honored mother-in-law will be spurned by her daughter-in-law. Then he turned to the crowd and said, when you see clouds beginning to form in the west, you say, here comes the shower, and you are right. When the south wind blows, you say, today will be a scorcher, and it is. Hypocrites, you interpret the sky well enough, but you refuse to notice the warnings all around you about the crisis ahead. Why do you refuse to see for yourselves what is right? If you meet your accuser on the way to court, try to settle the matter before it reaches the judge, lest he sentence you to jail. For if that happens, you won't be free again until the last penny is paid in full. I advise you to go back and read it yourself. That's Luke chapter 12, 35 through 59. It's got some messages you can really listen to. And I'm going to read lastly, I'm going to read Psalms chapter 78, verse 46 through 58. He gave their crops to the caterpillars. Their harvest was consumed by locusts. He destroyed their grapevines and their sycamores with hail. Their cattle died in the fields, mortally wounded by huge hailstones from heaven. Their sheep were killed by lightning. He loosed on them the fierceness of his anger, sending sorrow and trouble. He dispatched against them a band of destroying angels. He gave free course to his anger and did not spare the Egyptians' lives, but handed them over to the plagues and sickness. Then he killed the eldest son in each Egyptian family, he who was the beginning of its strength and joy, but he led forth his own people like a flock, guiding them safely through the wilderness. He kept them safe, so they were not afraid. But the sea closed in upon their enemies and overwhelmed them. He brought them to the border of his land of blessing, to this land of hills he made for them. He drove out the nations occupying the land. He gave each tribe of Israel its appointed place as its home. Yet, though he did all this for them, they still rebelled against the God above all gods and refused to follow his commands. They turned back from entering the promised land and disobeyed as their fathers had. Like a crooked arrow, they missed and the target of God's will, they made him angry by erecting idols and altars to other gods. I got one more thing real quick. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 24. Work hard and become a leader. Be lazy and never succeed. I mean, every page of the Bible is important. Every single page is important. I can't stress that enough, because every single page gives you a little bit more information. And be careful. A lot of parables, a lot of metaphors, and a lot of different things that you don't take things too literally at times, because sometimes they're trying to tell you other things. Just saying. Love y'all. God bless. And if you may give us another day tomorrow, may you get another day to get righteous, another day to get more loving and caring, and just another day to just be more better and keep God's commandments. And may he shine upon you. Love y'all. God bless.